Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show hosted by a French professor who's going to talk about Ice Spice and her album Like ... question mark. And Ice Spice, she's the kind of name that gets a lot of views, that gets a lot of attention. She's playing the social media game very well. Other people are using her to exploit the social media game very well. And I guess I'm going to throw myself onto the pile. I am going to say this. I'm going to do a real review of her album. I'm going to treat her music seriously, and I am going to take her seriously as an artist, which as far as I can tell is not a thing people are doing. I'm not on TikTok, really. My entry into the Bus It Challenge barely even got 1 million views. And it's like, I'm not really into social media. I do this channel, but what the hell? I'm a 45-year-old guy. I'm not going to be sitting there like, I need a team. I need like a TikTok team. If one of you out there wants to be my TikTok team, hit me up in the comments or something. But, so like, I was vaguely aware of her. Like her commercial would appear because she did a Lyric Genius verified explanation of one of her songs, and so her face just kept on popping up everywhere, just everywhere. Obviously, she, like others before her, like, I don't know, Takeshi 69 comes to mind, artists who are very cognizant of the role of being a brand, the role of having a look that makes it that people know immediately who you are, with her orange wig. I assume it's a wig because she has different hair, different pictures, or whatever, her orange hair, we'll call it that. That like she's sort of intentionally an emote or some kind of meme. And before you start thinking that I'm looking down on it, you know how much I've thought about how to be a meme? Like, I get jealous because, Fantano has his little mustache and the hair and the glasses. And I'm like, what do I have? I have like a beard and like variable hair length, but that, I think that's why there's so many dudes on YouTube with mustaches, because it's like easy to turn yourself into like I'm a meme person. So that was how I understood Ice Spice. And then she came out with an album. And I've had a few people asking me to review it, and I appreciate that. The first thing that I thought of is, first of all, great name. Like, top flight rap name. Like, when I think about some of the best rap names ever, I believe Ice Spice belongs on that list. Because it's like Ice-T, Ice Cube, mixed in with Sporty Spice, Scary Spice. It's like, that's what she is. She's a mix between rap and the Spice Girls. It works out perfectly. But that's not actually the comparison I'm going to make. The reason that you clicked on this video is I had the unmitigated audacity, as Frank Zappa has taught us to say. I had the unmitigated audacity. Sorry, you're going to hear my computer beeping in the back. I thought I turned it off. Doesn't matter. The unmitigated audacity to say that Ice Spice is the new Billie Eilish. Now, what do I mean by that? Do I mean that she has the same level of talent? That she will have the same level of influence? No. But I do believe as a cultural force, the parallels are there, and we need to study them. Like Billie Eilish, she is accused of being an industry plant, which, the more I think about the term, it's just a sexist term used to hurt women. That's it. Because anyone who's signed to a label has an industry who's trying to make them have success. And it's like, it's not that easy. Like, you can't just be signed to a label and then be successful. Like, most people who are signed to labels are unsuccessful. So it's not like major labels have a secret button and then they hit it and it goes, well, this one we choose to succeed and this one don't, Even if we accept the faulty premise that Lizzo and Billie Eilish and that Ice Spice are industry plants, that doesn't mean anything, because you can be planted, but that doesn't mean you're going to grow. And you can only grow with your talent, with your discretion, with your team, right? With your ability to make good art. So, that's one way that she's like Billie Eilish. The other way is much more interesting. She only has one producer, Riot USA. Stop playing, Riot. Hey, how many rappers do you know out there who only have one producer? Okay, I know, all my Nas fans who are watching this angry that I'm saying nice things about Ice Spice, and I only say that Nas is one of the 10 best rappers of all time and not number one. Okay, he's been working with one producer, but he doesn't only work with Hit Boy just in the last couple of years. This is a pretty rare thing. And it shows a level of understanding that having a cohesive sound, having a working relationship with somebody that works, helps your art. And I did say art. I believe Ice Spice is an artist. I do not believe she is just an influencer with a 2023 version of attractiveness. I think she's an artist, and part of the reason why is that she's not just jumping on to a whole list of 10 producers. She's not trying to get Max Martin. She's not trying to get Bad Bunny. I don't know what she's not trying to get, but she's not trying to get any big name producers. She's sticking with this person. So those are the easiest ways to understand this comparison. And all the way throughout is just the way that young women are treated in popular culture and by the dominant society, which is to say, poorly. She's blamed for her sexuality. She's blamed for how she looks. She's blamed for her talent. She's blamed for her last of her talent. People cannot wait to just say in the newest and funniest and most interesting way that she has no talent. She has no talent. Did you listen to these 13 minutes? She has talent. I do not think that she is the best up-and-coming rapper. I do not think she is one of the best rappers of all time, but I do think she belongs to be in the conversation with good rap artists in the mainstream. Now, I think part of the thing is that we have a natural aversion when we recognize something as being of the moment to deny it, to deny its importance. You know, we're looking for the eternal. We're looking for that which lasts a long time. And sometimes things pop up and they feel so of the moment that you just want to reject it. Ice Spice is so 2022, so 2023. By the way, you are 2000 and late. She's so 2022. Like her story, getting famous by doing the Bust It Challenge, which is, I guess, twerking on a camera. I looked up a compilation of it on YouTube. So now my algorithm's all messed up. I'm not really, anyways. And you know, she got famous for doing TikTok, and then she decided to make music. That pisses people off. Oh my God. Seriously? Quaker Oats was purchased by Pepsi Cola back in the early 2000s because Quaker Oats owned the rights to Gatorade. And Coca-Cola was making Powerade. And so Quaker Oats owned Gatorade. So anyways, that's why Pepsi bought Quaker Oats. And Haterade is also made by Pepsi. And the sales that we see with Haterade that is sold, when you hear somebody say, I had a big hit on TikTok, so I decided to make an album. Ugh. No. But you're supposed to live and die for your music. You're supposed to be the most realist real. You're supposed to live and breathe it. Well, that's not how it always is. Matter of fact, if you look up the history of Atlanta rap, a lot of the biggest rappers that you've heard of and that you love weren't rappers. Just some producer... you can watch my video on Atlanta rap if you want to learn more. Some producer finds them and then just says, you have good charisma. You should be a rapper. Young Jeezy is a good example of that. I'll tell you more in the comments. I forget right now. I'm trying to do this video quickly. You know, it's happened a lot. That's part of what makes rap interesting is, as much as I hate to admit, you can just sort of start doing it. You can. You can. It is allowed. Now, sometimes that looks like Logan Paul and Jake Paul and Paul, the third Paul brother. No one talks about him. Look him up. Paul. He has a great rap song. I'm just kidding. Don't. You know, like, oh, I got a Lamborghini and I like to eat linguine. You know, really bad rhymes from people whose life experience does not reflect that which is made, which represents most of hip hop. It's not the voice of the voiceless. But I don't think that's the case here. I think the thing is this. There's many people who have wanted to be an artist their whole life and they never make it. And there's a lot of people who don't have that as their goal. Okay? Who apparently, according to a video I saw, she was at school playing volleyball in a college and then she dropped out. Okay? And then she decided to become a big pop star. But there's some people who try their whole life and don't make it. And there's some people who don't try as very hard at all and they make it. And sometimes it just comes down to charisma. That's it. Their personality. The sound of their voice. How they project themselves. Now, that doesn't mean that they haven't worked on that. That doesn't mean that there is nothing to it. But it's just a fact of life. It's just a fact. Some people just have that charisma. And by the way, Ice Spice has that charisma. Have you heard her in an interview? Which, by the way that she talks is very similar to the way Billie Eilish talks, which is funny because she has a very Bronx accent. Does Billie Eilish ever get criticism for like appropriating like the accent that she uses? I don't know if she does. You can tell me in the comments. But she has that charisma, and it's all the way throughout these 13 minutes. No matter how weak some of her rhymes are, I'm going to talk about room, boob as a lyric coming up soon. It doesn't matter because she has it. And that's the thing. And haters, including myself, I would have been a hater if I was 20 years old and I heard about Ice Spice. Dude, she's not even a real talent. Why don't you listen to MF Doom? You know, all that stuff. It's just the way that it is. Now, it's also hard because she really trades on her sexuality and her looks. I'm lucky because I'm old. When you reach a certain age, not only is it hard to like new music, but the current trends for what is considered attractive in women, it changes. So like, I see Ice Spice. I don't think she's ugly, but there's no like something happened somewhere around the Kardashian quarter where like my taste in like hot celebrities became old. It's super weird, but you just have to trust me. It happens. It's just there's some mental thing that happens. So like I'm sort of immune to whatever that part of it is. You know, I just sort of just see her and I'm like, oh, she's not wearing many clothes. That's all I think. But she so consciously raps about that, and that's the worst part because it's really boring. I keep getting messages. I'm sorry. It's really, really boring. One more ding, and I'm going to turn it off myself. You know, you get really bored. Why did I say bored? I'm thinking about something else. I'm distracted. I'll talk about that some other time. You know, she's turned herself into some kind of Barbie doll. And I think she's following Nicki Minaj very clearly with the album cover, like a 3D rendering of her. She's almost becoming like that AI rapper. Like she almost seems like she's a parody of a very sexualized female rapper, like being turned into a cartoon. But she's not alone in that either. Travis Scott did the same thing. In hearing her speak and in hearing her rapping, my main problem is her defensiveness. Because, like, she was defending herself. I guess she did a show in Houston and people weren't reacting that well. And like, whenever people criticize her, she just keeps on talking about her checks and talking about her money and all that stuff. And it's like, you know, that's what J.K. Rowling does, you know? Like when people correctly accuse her of being a bigot and a transphobe, she just says, well, I checked my bank account. No, never ever in your entire life ever defend anything you do by how much money you have. Because Jeff Bezos has a lot of money. I wouldn't piss on him if his heart was on fire, okay? He's a worthless human being. I don't care how many billions of dollars he's got, okay? You, watching my video, are a more valuable person than him. So never justify yourself by money. So I wish that part wasn't there. I wish she could just be, but it's hard. I mean, she's 22, 23, I don't know how old she is, but she's really young. She's got a lot of fame. It must be hard to handle. Also, hey, she's from the Bronx, which is a win for the home team. If you don't know, hip-hop comes from the Bronx. I also made a video about that where I talked about this book, Breakbeats in the Bronx, by Joseph E. Woodsey. The more I think about it, the more I realize this is one of the best books ever written about hip-hop. It really goes into some interesting details. And it's good. It's good to have more music from the Bronx. That's where this art comes from. So why don't we respect that a little bit more? I am sad to say that I also heard in an interview that her plan is to move into Spanish music. I guess one of her parents is from the Dominican Republic, so that's okay. But it feels a little bit more like trend chasing. And then she's going to get more into pop. That's a little bit of a bummer too, because I like her like this. I like this kind of weird, semi-drill, internet-savvy rap music. I feel a little bit sad. The inevitability of Ice Spice. The inevitability of her trajectory. The inevitability of the 25-song album where 5 songs are still produced by Riot USA, but then the rest are produced by a long litany of people. And it's got the guest appearance, and it's just, you know, I mean, my hope for her is that she does what Lil Nas X was able to do, where like still making a great album, even while sort of coming out of nowhere. Okay, I'm not even going to give you By the way, this review is already longer than the album. I'm not even going to give you a stamp, an example song. If you don't know her songs, listen to the whole album. It's 13 minutes. First song is called In Hamood. In Hamood? Again, this album is so of its time because it uses all this slang. It's so reliant on understanding how social media works. Solid drill beat. Just even the expression in Hamood is just like groovy, baby. But, hey, women get to have emotions. I get like 1 million views a day, so many ways to get paid. So defensive, a little bit less than that. Big boobs and the butt stay plump. I don't like it because, like, there's a certain degree, there's a huge degree, 99% of physical beauty is happenstance of birth. So whenever you talk about how hot you are partially thanking genetics. And I personally don't like genetics. I don't like genetic determinism. I don't like the fact that I was born with a skin, and that makes me gives me all sorts of privileges that people who have skin darker than me don't have. I think it's a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing to talk about genetics. I think it's a bad thing to talk about how hot you are. And I especially think it's a bad thing for female artists because sometimes that's all they're valued for. And I think Ice Spice is more than her butt. I know because, as I've previously discussed, whatever that is, that I'm sort of like, fine, right? Like if she was... if she looked like an iPhone case and made this music, I think it was good. I don't think she has to talk about what a great... But she has as an iPhone case. Have you liked this video yet, by the way? Have you smashed the like bucket? You really should. Next song is called Princess Diana. Probably my favorite song on the album, or on the EP, or on the just the P. There's not much of it here. Very strong, distorted beat. A lot of this gra. I watched the music video and all the lyrics are just written all over her body. Again, her body is so central to everything here. Call on my phone, but they know I don't answer. In my hood, I'm like Princess Diana. I think that's great. I like this idea of her being like Princess Diana, of her being this kind of famous. I'm thick because I be eating oats. You see behind me here, steel-cut oats made by Wegmans. Eat oatmeal instead of cereal. It's much better for you. Apparently, it makes you look like Ice Spice. There's a funny joke where, I'm of Scottish origins, where an Englishman is making fun of a Scotsman for eating too many oats. He says, I say, you eat too many oats. We only give oats to our horses. And then the Scottish guy says, aye, it's why you have such fine horses and we have such fine men. It's a good joke. Catchy. You can hate the song if you want. Go ahead. Hate it all away. Break your keyboard, Nas fans. Go for it. But hey, this is good. Especially the part with just her hi-hat in her voice. It's good. Next song is called Gangsta Boo. Not good. Not a fan of this one. The guitar beat, okay. Little TJ is fine, but frankly, Ice Spice is better. I do like her positioning as being sort of sexually hunting after a partner, looking for a gangsta boo. I do like that. I like any song where women have sexual agency. It's interesting here, though, where she says, got a place to stay for the night, but I'm too shy to invite you. So she's like straight up saying, like, I want to have sex with you, but I'm too shy to invite you. Interesting. I like that. I think this shows a deeper thing to say that she's so out there, but then she's also so shy. Next song is called Acting a Smoochie, co-written by Ty Royal, Smoochie Wallace. Nice kind of EDM style beat, sort of house-like. I guess she's not making up words. I guess Smoochie is a term. That's fine. But then the last two tracks are obviously singles, super big, Bikini Bottom. Funny title, because you think about her wearing a bikini bottom because she's sexualizing her body so much and she very rarely wears clothes. But then also, if you're in the demographic of people who listen to her music or who have had her music inflicted upon you. If you don't like it, you love SpongeBob and you think that's where he lived, in Bikini Bottom. It's actually clever, double entendre, nice kind of little guitar bits here. I got 2 milli for using a mic. Think about that when you type. That same idea of just it's okay. Just, you're not putting anybody down. The fact that you make money is the least interesting thing about you, Ice Spice. Ass on fat and waist on sleek. Just this whatever. It just happens. Whatever. Every generation, women are tortured by patriarchy, which tells them how they're supposed to look. And recently, patriarchy has been very successful at using women to tell other women how they're supposed to look. They're essentially being the henchmen for the patriarchy. That's what we're seeing here. It's a bummer. Interesting that she says that she's bisexual in the song. Okay. This is where she rhymes the word room with boob. That's called a slanted rhyme, and it's totally valid. Even though the words room and boob do not rhyme with her accent, the way she delivers it, it's perfectly fine. The final track is Munch, Feelin' You, much more raw, this great stuttering drill-style hi-hat. She talks about having mini-me's, but as far as I can tell, this was her first big hit, so you can't have mini-me's yet. Like, you sort of are a mini-me of Nicki Minaj. Like, every female rapper who has a sort of strong sexual vibe and has aspirations to be both pop and hip-hop is Nicki Minaj's son until they reach a certain level. And then they can be their own artist. But like, what am I talking about? I think the best flow on the album, a really nice chorus. I'm not sure how great of a plan it is referring to like putting a man down by saying that he's only good for oral sex. The general thing of just emasculating men who want to perform oral sex. It's again, just as a feminist, that there should be equity in oral sex, in all sex. That's just should be. That should just be, and no one should feel bad about it. No one should feel bad about any of it. No one should be shamed about any of it. None of it. However you munch, however you crunch, no shame. See, if I had a team, I would have a T-shirt that says, however you crunch, well, actually, I'd get sued by Crunchy Munch. However you munch, however you crunch, no shame. All right, there you go. There's my thoughts on Ice Spice. The next, Billie Eilish. Those are my Patreons. They give me money. You can't buy Ice Spice's albums because she's too 2023. Thanks for sticking with me during the bings and the booms and the bangs and the boobs. Here's the camera.